Hey everybody, I'm just taking a few minutes to preserve some beets today because my wonderful neighbor beneath me shared with me some beets. You know, we often go back and forth, and if one of us has gone to the store or the other, or if we've had an opportunity to go to a farmer's market or go to a free event like Sisters Camelot had another free event today where they were giving out nice, free, fresh produce, which is always awesome. Um, we usually call each other or knock on each other's door and say, "Hey, would you like da da da? Do you want some blueberries? Do you want some beets?" And of course, I love beets, so I said, "Yes, I do want some beets." And she gave me these beets the other week, and there were like three to a bag. And so she gave me a couple of bags of the beets, and these are fresh. These are not in a can. They haven't had all kinds of magical preserving things happen to them. They are just fresh, fresh, fresh. And so I wanted to do the preserving so that way I can put them up, know the date that they were packaged, and have these goodies and enjoy them for quite a while. Today, when the Sisters Camelot truck came, um, and there was a line, wasn't as long as the line was a month ago, but there were a bunch of people standing out there, and it rained and it stopped and it rained and it stopped, but people were out there because there are some areas in not only our country but in our cities and in our communities that are food deserts. I don't know if you've ever used that term food desert or heard of that terminology food desert, but there are some areas where there's like where I live um, because of the social unrest last year, we had an increase of food deserts because there was a lot of rioting and people coming in town just to burn down stuff and then go back to their comfy, cozy homes and live happily ever after, where they had grocery stores and gas stations, etc. Where I live, those things were pretty much taken away from us as an option. So we've had to bite the bullet. I had to turn on a fan because don't have air conditioning, and it's a little bit more. We've had to bite the bullet and learn how to deal with stuff, which I already was a prepper. In that sense, I believe in being prepared for whatever may come up because you never know what's going to come up. And, social unrest, um, that came up. Pandemic, that came up. You know, there's people um, with all kinds of financial situations, health situations. There's a myriad of things that have happened, and we just have to be able to bounce back. Like when if a cat is jumping or falls, it always seems to land on its feet. We got to be like that cat landing on our feet. So that means we have to be focused, we have to be prepared, and we need to not be scared, and we need to have a plan in place. Even if we don't know the totality of the plan, we need to try to have one in place. So again, these beets, I had two sacks with three beets in each one. I washed the beets because beets are a root vegetable. And yes, they were covered with dirt even though they were in the sack, which that's fine by me because I know they're fresh and I know they came from the ground. So I put them in a tall pot, added water, added about a quarter of a cup of vinegar, put it on the stove, put the lid on, and I let it boil for close to 45 minutes or so. So after that, I just turned it off, let the pot sit there till it cooled. Um, I've done this sort of thing before, so it's not the first time that I've prepared raw beets. I used to cook in a monastery, So every day was a meal made from scratch day. And it wasn't like, let's go to Cub or Rainbow or Food Lion or wherever and see what's cracking. No, it was actually more like, hmm, what food will be donated today? Um, the women that were there were very wise. They taught me a lot about making any and everything out of any and everything from scratch. Things that are gluten free. So for people that have gluten free diets, we can do that. But I'd like to know what people really are interested in, and if you put it in the comment section below, um, it would help. Because then we can work on things that I know that you're interested in. But getting fresh squash, fresh beets, um, raw onions. I mean, like from the garden onions. Or someone goes out fishing and they just catch 20 or 30 or 40 crappies or sunnies. Sometimes it was like, yeah, that's it. That's what was donated. Someone knocked on the door or rang the bell and left a big package outside, and we'd open the door and it was there, and I'd pull it in, and whatever was there, that's what we had to work with. Sometimes it might be a bushel of apples, someone that had an apple tree in their yard, and maybe they got it just to look kind of pretty or whatever, because some people just like the fruit trees because the blossoms or things looking pretty. Um, but then as apples start growing, not all apples are going to look like what you find in the department store, the grocery store. You know, they get spotty, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It means they're natural. So I have to dig out those bad parts. Sometimes make baked spiced apples. Sometimes I might be making apple pie. I might prepare something with rhubarb. Um, might be doing any variety of things. Let's see. Slice those up. This is 5 out of 6 of those beets. And I put 3/4 of a cup of vinegar and about 3/4 of a cup to 1 cup full of water in there. And then I started just slicing and putting all those items in there. I will eat these because I love beets. But if I wasn't planning on eating them right now, what I would end up doing is I'd take it and I'd put it in my Instapot with some water in the bottom of the Instapot, push the setting to seal the can because you can do canning in your Instapot. You can make a cake in your Instapot. You can make meatloaf. You can do all kinds of stuff. So, and would put it in there and let the pressure cooker steam up enough till it would suck that lid in and this will be set. And then I can just put it in the cupboard. But it already does have the vinegar in there, which is like a preserving agent. And I'll probably put it in the refrigerator, but yes, I'm gonna eat it anyway. It's not gonna last that long for me because it never does. Um, Beets are something that's it's a treat. Beets are a treat, and they're very good for you. Um, you can do the same thing like with hard boiled eggs. Hard boil some eggs, um, and after your eggs are done, turn the stove off, drain off the hot water, add some cool water, give it some time to cool down. Then you can take the egg out, put it on the counter, which I'll do on another video. I don't have any whole eggs right now. And you spin the egg to ensure that it's cooked through and through. because it will spin differently if it's cooked through and through from how it will if it's not. If it's not cooked through and through, it'll be kind of wonky and wobbly, but if it's cooked through and through, it'll spin like a top. Let them cool off, crack it a little bit, peel, take those eggs, and you can do the same thing with the vinegar and water, and you can fill up our friend's mason jar with a bunch of those eggs and pickled eggs, just like pickled beets. They will last. And what's nice is we got the shiny top. You can take a permanent marker and you can write on there what's in there if you can't tell, which I can tell that mine beets, but you can write on there what's in there and put the date that it was put in there. So then that's something that you could have at a later date. If you just got a hankering for something a little different, you know the freshness of it because you did it yourself. And that's always awesome. And yes, I do wear the rubber gloves whenever I'm working with the beets because I don't want to get caught red handed. I hope you're having a great day. That's a little tip for today, something that you can do to stretch your food, make it last for you. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you again soon.